Hey everybody, this is Giancarlo Alino reporting for Sportskeeda MMA, and I'm happy to be joined by my guest today, who's going to be talking about some stuff that shouldn't be going on in the fight world right now. But she is a UFC competitor. She is Diana Belbita. Diana, welcome back to Sportskeeda.
Thank you. Hi guys. It's back. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, and Diana, it's unfortunate circumstances what you had to go through here, but we want to give you a platform because you emailed and brought this to light last night, even on Twitter, of what was going on there in BKFC. Can you just talk to our viewers here at Sportskeeda? What happened, and when did you first get in contact with the fighter in BKFC?
So I never knew who this guy is. All I saw about him was that he just fought in BKFC because I watch BKFC every time they have a show. Sometimes I attend their shows because my boyfriend Cameron, he fights for them and he loves that. So I love to support him and I love the organization. I love it the way they are doing the things. So I'm a fan. So obviously I watch it and I just saw this guy on the TV and then I woke up yesterday morning and him and Cameron, they were going back and forth in some things. I don't know. Cameron said he woke up in the morning, and what I saw the screenshots, Cameron woke up in the morning with a message from this guy saying that he's gonna like, what time is the sparring at your gym? I want to knock you out. Cameron said we can do this in a actual fight, whatever. This is not my business. I don't care what my boyfriend does, how they go back and forth in their fights. But what bothers me, this guy was mentioning me as Cameron's girlfriend. And unfortunately, I don't think everybody understands how bad this is. Like, to be honest, when I saw those comments, at first, I didn't read the whole conversation. I saw, oh, this guy said something about me. I didn't read it. To be honest, my English is not at that level for me to understand exactly what those things mean. And then I asked one of my friends because I was like, this guy's talking about me. I want to know what this guy is saying. And meanwhile, I was replying to the post that Cameron made on Facebook with all the screenshots about the conversation. And I tagged Ruben Warr and I said, please do not get me involved in this. And he commented back and he was, of course, swearing back and talking bad things back. He deleted the comment later, but of course, I have a screenshot. I'm a woman and I screenshot everything. And then I wanted to know what this guy said about me. And to be honest, I was in shock because I will never imagine, like, just that thing popping up in my mind with, like, I don't know if people understand that this guy was actually saying that he will rape me, him and his friends. They are gonna pass me around. Like, I don't know how people, like, if people can see this as something normal, but I cannot. To be honest, I couldn't even tell my mom yesterday about this situation because I felt so disgusted and in a way that I don't want my mom to picture that on her head. But I had to tell her 30 minutes ago. I just called her and I talked with her about this because I knew she's gonna see all the social media stuff that is going on lately, and I don't want her to panic. Of course, she's in under the shock. I'm under the shock too because this things is still in my mind. To be honest, last night I couldn't sleep till 3, 4 in the morning because just picturing this in my mind every time I try to sleep, I try to clear my mind. It's crazy. It's disgusting. Like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't care about what he does. But unfortunately, there are chances to see this guy in real life. Like, how is this guy gonna react when he's gonna see me after he was threatening me with those? And a lot of other stuff that he said. Like, it's, I don't know. For me, that's just the next level. And then he was reaching out to me on private messages saying, oh, I'm sorry that I said that about you. I don't know you. um Please delete the comments that people are the reviews that people are leaving on my jobs companies, whatever, Google.
Yeah.
The reviews that I'm not in charge of. I didn't leave any reviews and stuff, and I really feel bad for the owner because the owner is probably was working for so many years to bring that company up, and now there are bad reviews about that. But unfortunately, this guy is part of that company. But of course, that's not the owner's fault.
Yeah.
And this guy was saying sorry, and then he was threatening me that he's gonna sue me because of those reviews. because he said he has a really good lawyer. And I'm like, if you have a really good lawyer, your lawyer should tell you that what you said, it's actually the problem. Like, you just threatened me that you are going to gang rape me, plus other N words, F words, and other stuff. I don't know how to feel about this, because I can't even, to be honest, I can't even talk with my mom and or with other people about this, because for me, this is, it's disgusting. And the fact that I see some fake profiles on Twitter trying to take this guy's side, I just want those people to picture that on their mind. What if there it's their daughters, their wives, their girlfriends, their moms, their sister? How will they feel about that? Because
And it's
unfortunately, my mom had to picture that on her mind too.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate too because like if it's one thing you're promoting a fight, going ahead, maybe there's an agreement there that okay, let's go back and forth and make something out of it. But you being brought into the situation is unfortunate, and there's something there where BKFC kind of replied, and maybe they didn't understand the whole nature of the situation. How there was one comment that said 2024 is going to be a wild year, and then later on they responded to your screenshots, and they did say they're going to accelerate the process and look into it. Have you received an update from anybody in BKFC, from even the president, or I know Conor McGregor's involved in there, like maybe any of his people? Have they contacted you about the situation?
No, they didn't. Like what you said, the comments are the only things that they were reacting with. At the same time, I'm not expecting them to reach out to me to tell me story on this guy's name. I do not need that. I also do not want to bring any damage to the reputation of BKFC, because it's not their business what this guy is doing. But I wanted them to know that this guy is making, like, it's saying the bad words, the racist words, and he's threatening me. And the fact that I'm attending some of BKFC events and I may sit at that guy there, like, to be honest, after all this and after everything what I'm going through the last day, I still don't want Ruben Warr. I don't want his personal life to be all messed up because of that. Or I I to be honest, I thought that BKFC can actually talk to him and tell him, like, you cannot do this, like, you cannot react like that towards other people, women, kids, whatever. Like, I don't want, to be honest, I don't want this guy to get fired. I don't want this guy to go through some bad stuff, but he has to understand that what he's doing and what he is saying, it's actually dangerous. Like, my mom today, what she told me is like, what if this guy is gonna try to find you and come after you after all this? And I'm like, and what should I do? And of course, my mom, it's she's advising me to press charges and to go to the police and, take some measures, some safety measurements. Thing that I do not want to do, because I know how much that is gonna cost him and how much that is gonna, mess up with his future. And I know he has a family. I know he has kids, and I don't want to mess up with those kids' future. He's a father, but he has to understand that those things cannot be said. Like, you cannot threaten me like that. Like, the way he was saying it was beyond disgusting.
Or just before this, like, has there been any conversation in the past, like Cameron and Ruben, like, do they know each other? Did this stem from maybe them trying to, or maybe the possibility of a fight taking place, like, or was this just completely random?
So I didn't know about anything before, because I'm not asking Cameron who is texting and whatever is going on his private messages. But yesterday I was talking with Cameron. He told me that Ruben Warr fought one of Cameron's teammates. Cameron's teammate won, and then I guess they start going back and forth, just a few words to each other, but nothing that bad, nothing too disrespectful. So, like, it's nothing much, nothing that will involve me. Like, I don't care what my boyfriend does, and to promote the fights or whatever, to fight with other people, I don't care. Like, it's his business. Like, if you all tell me, oh, I'm fighting with that, I'm like, okay, good luck. What do you want me to do? But the fact that I was involved in this and I don't know this guy, I don't know. I heard that, like, people are texting me and they told me that this guy went to jail for a while in a past, and how I'm gonna believe that and how I'm gonna be sure that I'm safe right now after this guy was threatening me.
So like going forward, like BKFC events and like have your pass maybe crossed in the past, like in terms of at the event, like or never met before?
No. I never met him before, even at the BKFC events, or at least I didn't see them. Like I didn't know who this guy is until the morning when I saw that he's mentioning things about me and talking all the bad stuff. Like I don't know who this guy is. I told you everything what I saw. What I saw was just his poster on BKFC page, and I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. And I watched the fight because I'm watching the BKFC events,
Yeah.
but I didn't know nothing else about the guy. Like I don't have a history with this guy or something.
So it gives our viewers like a like if they're listening to this right now, watching this, so they understand here. Like I know the first impression they probably hear, oh, they must know each other. There's history there. They're selling a fight. Has nothing to do with that. Like if you can confirm that.
No. I definitely do not know the guy. Like I even now, all I know about him is what is going on the last day. I have no idea about his past. I didn't even Google about his past. I don't know, and to be honest, I don't care. Like what I want people to understand is that we cannot joke with those things because
Yeah.
I'm worried that this guy will may actually do that. And plus, like leaving away what he said about me, he said other things that about my boyfriend, like he's gonna go to the gym with his homies and they are all gonna go strapped on and whatever else. Like I don't know if people actually read all those conversations and they understand that this is scary. For me, this is scary. Like I want to know how I'm gonna be safe now.
And has anybody in your gym maybe come out and try to put pressure on BKFC to address this, or has like it
No,
just been
because
whatever?
to be honest, I didn't tell nobody in my gym yet. Like my coach doesn't
Oh,
know. So I don't know how they are gonna react when they are gonna find out about all this, but I just I don't know. All the situation is so disgusting and what he said, how I can explain my coach what this guy said. Like I cannot
yeah.
tell my coach, oh, this guy threatened me to gang rape me. I don't know. It just feels like I do not say those words in front of my coaches and my teammates, and so I don't know how they are gonna react about this. And as I said, I'm not pressuring BKFC to do something. I just want them to talk with this guy and explain to him that what he does is not okay. And then maybe, I don't know, send me an email or a message or whatever saying like, we talk with him, we assure you that everything is it's fine, and this guy, it's whatever, minding his own business. Because I don't care what this guy does. I understand that he just wanna fight and he's probably like he thinks he's a big star and he can do whatever, but there are words that you cannot say. Like I don't know how this guy can say the N word, the F word, and I'm not saying the small F word, I'm saying the
Yeah.
big F word, and not having any problems with that. Like there are other fighters that they got cut. There are other people that they got banned from social media because of those things.
I agree. So hopefully, BKFC, like you said, gets to the bottom of it and uh, like just addresses it because like I think some fans out there they probably see like accountability. If they see that there is accountability, maybe that will change. But hope for the best there and for you. But want to just maybe get a little bit of a positive turn here to so like that the conversation isn't like in this topic, but in terms of like BKFC, the UFC, like there is that relationship now in terms of Conor McGregor being a part of it. You said you've been at BKFC events in the past. Like, what have you noticed in the BKFC product in recent years? Have you noticed like a positive direction? Like, is it becoming more popular than you maybe think it would have been in the beginning?
Yeah, I really feel like BKFC is doing a great job, especially that I know some of the inside stuff too, because
Yeah,
Cameron is fighting there. So of course I'm hearing a lot of stuff. I talk with him a lot about this, and the way everything looks from home, from the TV, it's amazing. But I went to those events live, and I went there. Usually when I go there, I don't go alone. Of course, I go with 5, 10, 15 of my friends. We take a trip for the week. We stay in a fighter's hotel, and like we have all that. good experience, that nice experience. And what they are doing, it's amazing. Like, and it's growing, and I love that. Like it's so much violence, and I love MMA. UFC, it's definitely the top promotion in the world, no matter of all the combat sports. But BKFC, it's growing so fast lately, and is doing so good. So I love the concept. Like, I don't know if I will ever fight in BKFC because I'm not scared about my face. I don't care if I get cut. I don't care. But I'm scared about my hands. I don't know. I always, even now, I have a bruise on my knuckle, and I'm like, I don't want that. You can break your hands, knuckles. So I don't know about that. But I'm a fan, and of course, I'm watching this all the time.
Yeah, and even just the production too. I've noticed from some of the events they put on, like when Mike Perry fights, it's always a big thing. Eddie Alvarez. So, do you think they have a concept that maybe in the next couple of years we'll see them not compete with the UFC, but be that alternative that a lot of fighters are going to go into in their career, maybe in MMA is done?
I think it's a little bit too early to talk about that. And UFC, it's too high up.
Yeah.
So maybe fighters that want to experience something else and they get out of the contract with UFC, they definitely can try BKFC. But it's hard to compete because UFC is there at the highest top, at the highest level, and everybody wants to be there. So only people that don't make it there, or they don't want to be there anymore, or just people that want something else. They like, okay, I don't want to wrestle, I don't want to go to the ground, so I'm just gonna box. And I don't want to box with big gloves, so I'm just gonna box without gloves at all.
And also, just at UFC right now, when you last joined us, you talked about how you wanted to be eventually a cut woman. And a few days later, I see on Twitter it came true. So, what was it like being a cut woman? And like, is that something that you enjoy doing, like from time to time?
So let me tell you the story how this happened. So I was already in a car driving to the event. I was close, like 5-10 minutes away of the event. So I was driving already for almost an hour. And I was wearing a leather dress, short dress, tight dress, high heels. Like I was going to the event to watch the event. And then my coach called me and he's like, I don't know what happened. One of the catmen didn't show up. I don't know what reason. And they cannot start the show without a catman. And I'm like, okay, and what do you want me to do? Call somebody, to talk with somebody? What do you... He's like, can you work the event? Can you be catman at least, for the experience? And I'm like, I look at myself and I was like, all I can be right now is the ringer. Like, do you understand that I'm wearing a short leather dress? Like, super short. Like, I cannot do nothing. And he's like, yeah, but maybe we can find some clothes. I'm like, okay, find some clothes. So they found, of course, some clothes, but were some man clothes, like some sweatpants and a t-shirt. But it was actually cool, being there for the first time. And I did some training before that because my coach is a great catman, and I always loved it. And I always watched sparring, beginner sparring. I'm in charge of the beginners Muay Thai sparring in my gym. So those guys headbutt each other, they cut each other. So I know how to deal with that. So it was fun, and to be honest, I really love the experience. And now I'm working most of the unified MMA events. And now I have a friend that she joined me, and now she's learning, and I feel so good because I feel like I'm helping her to learn that. And it's amazing, all that emotions and all that. I was in a cage so many times, and I was sitting between the rounds on that stool, and I know what a fighter feels. And now I'm going there and I see that fighter, and that fighter is looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I know exactly what he thinks. I'm like, this guy loves it, or this guy don't want to be here. And I remember one thing that I heard at some point that broke my heart, literally broke my heart. I was working one of the fights, and the guy, whatever, got cut. Was the blood was not that big of a problem. The thing is, like, the guy was getting pretty beat up the 2 rounds. So after the 2 rounds, he was telling his coach, he's like, Coach, I can't do it anymore. And his coach is like, just take your time, wait until the break is done, and you are gonna tell me again. It's like, Coach, I can't. I just cannot do it. That broke my heart because that guy was a kid, probably 18, 19 years old. And I cannot even imagine what's on this guy mind and heart to say that, to like, how many fights were on his mind during that round, that second round, that he went to the corner and he said he cannot do it anymore.
And is that something where eventually are you going to try and get into the UFC as a cut woman? Like, There's a lot of cards there where stuff has happened last minute. How you got into it was kind of last minute. Like, are you gonna volunteer if Dana White looks around at the commission? Like, we need a cut woman to come up.
So I was working one of the unified events when Dana White and Mick Maynard were there. And I remember
Oh,
I was waiting for the fighters, you know, it was that break before the fights, and I was waiting for the fighters to put a Vaseline on to get the fighter ready to go in a cage. And Mick Maynard come to me, he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, I guess kind of work. So yeah, they saw me working there. I don't know what this. I mean, I love to do it, but it can just be a side job because you cannot have it as a full time job. But I love it. Like so far, I really enjoy it, and I feel like I'm learning a lot of stuff. And I love to do the practice before that. Like every time before an event that week, I'm practicing again the hand drops to make sure I don't make any mistakes because I know how important that is. Like for me, I'm so like, oh, the hand wrap is too tight, or it's too loose, or it's this. So I'm practicing and I'm trying to not make mistakes and I'm trying to look all professional. So it's really fun. It's really fun.
and another job, I guess you can say, that you wanted to do in the last time we spoke was commentate on fights. Has that happened since like you put that out there that you wanted to commentate on a few events in English?
Not yet because usually the events that are in my area, I work them as a cutwoman, so I don't really get the chance to do it. But that's okay. I'm okay with being there and working, actually feeling like I'm making a difference for the fighter because I know that's important for the fighter. You know, the stop the blood, and
Yeah.
that's I know how important that is for the fighter. So I'm okay with that. Like even in the future, yeah, I will definitely not say no to comment some events, but at the same time I feel like I'm getting too into it and like everything gets too personal. Like I want, like when I work the fights, I want my guy to win. The guy that I'm working his fight, I'm rooting for him. I want that guy to win. So I'm worried that as a commentator I will do the same. Like I'll just pick a guy and I'm like, I want this guy to win and just talk more about that guy. So I have, first of all, I have to get used to be impartial, to not take sides.
Understandable there. And also we know that you're a huge fan of the UFC. Like Saturday nights, like it's the events are on, it's fight night. So there was a few that happened recently, and in the past year, even UFC fans have seen Alex Pereira become like the face of the promotion, just stepping in on short notice and knocking out his opponents. What have you seen out of Alex Pereira in this rise since he's been a two division champion?
That guy is amazing. I don't know how he's doing it, but just think about that. Not just the fighting, the way he's a character out of the fight too.
Yeah.
Like I love that guy. The way he's doing, the guy is a superstar. That's a superstar. That's the guy just came to UFC not long ago, and he was just becoming two division champ and beat all those guys that, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy. His wrestling is trash. He's this, and then he proved the difference. Like no, I love the guy. Like he's definitely, he should be the most of the kids role model. Like if I will have a kid, I will love my kid to want to be like him, like Alex Pereira.
And even like we're Canadian here, so like at Union Station, I remember when the UFC came here in January, they had Alex Pereira at Union Station, and that just shows how much of a superstar he was because it was packed down there, everybody chanting Shama. So he's a guy like you mentioned where he just came into the UFC. He's not talking about anyone's wrestling or jujitsu. He's just himself and becoming the biggest star almost in the promotion outside of like Conor McGregor even.
It's fun. It's funny that even in my gym, sometimes we make fun about that, and we are Shama, Shama, Shama. Or like we always, yeah. I really think this thing is gonna get really big. Like I know it's at a really high level right now, but he's gonna be even bigger than that. This guy is gonna achieve what maybe nobody achieved already, because he has the age too. Like he didn't come
Yeah.
in UFC 15 years ago and made his way up, and no, he just came here and cleaned up the whole company. The guy is good. Like the guy is good. Like when I see him so chill, picking his shots, and then especially the when he fought Jamal Hill, and the referee wanted to step in because he got a low shot, and he's like, no, 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 let me handle this, and then knock out the guy. Like how cool can be that?
Yeah. And speaking of other fights, like all UFC fans, all MMA fans, they want to see Conor McGregor back in the octagon. We almost got it. He had the injury, but Do you think that Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler happens this year? And I guess what would be your prediction for how that fight goes?
I don't know. I have a teammate. He is 10 years old. He will hate me if he will hear me now, but I don't think he's gonna come to fight anymore. Like, why?
Um,
The guy has everything he wants and even more. Why would he come back and fight? For what? He doesn't need money anymore. He's teasing people, and I feel better. I feel bad for Chandler for just waiting that long. But I don't know. I really hope he's gonna come back. But at the same time, I don't know the level that he's at. He didn't fight in so long, so I don't know how that is gonna be. So if I will be him, I'll be like, why I'm going to fight? Why I'm gonna take risk to lose a fight, to get hurt again? For what? What does he need? Like, yeah, people like me, we are fighting for money. We need money, and we try to push to fight as much as we can, and we need that. But I don't. If I will be him, I will not fight. I'll be like, why? Taking punches, getting hurt, for what reason? I have everything I need already.
that's true. Especially Conor McGregor, everything he's done in the sport too. So I just feel like you said, feel bad for Chandler. It's been a long wait. Do you think he should have fought in the meantime, or is just the fight against McGregor too big to, take a risk on maybe losing if you get back in there?
I'm sure Chandler didn't know the risk when he was keep waiting for McGregor fight. He still had the hope, and I'm sure he still has that hope. I don't think he should have waited that long because he's not a 19, 20 years old guy. Like, he didn't fight in the last, how long, 3 years, 2, 3 years. So those years added to his age. And then what? He's gonna come back and have 1 or 2 fights and retire after that, and that's all we got from Chandler. That's what we saw. I think he can do a lot more, and I really think he could just like beat another 2, 3 guys or have another 2, 3 good fights, and then maybe fight Conor McGregor. Like, why waiting so long? I understand it's a money fight and you can make a lot of money, but if that guy is not gonna fight at all, he's not gonna make any money.
That's true. And for you yourself, do you have any fights coming up? Are you in discussions of maybe getting back in the octagon?
Unfortunately, not. I really wanted to fight maybe September, October, but unfortunately, I can't. My arm that got the ligament that got torn in February, it's still not healed, and it's still bad. Like, I had a really long time when I couldn't straight arm. Right now, I'm okay. I still cannot wrestle. I still cannot brush the push kicks. I cannot block a body kick or a hard head kick. So I have a lot of things that I cannot do. So I still have to protect my arm, and I don't know, because I couldn't really train my upper body because my arm was injured. I overtrained my legs, so now my knees are bad. So I have something like tendonitis or something like that. So it's gonna take a while until I'm gonna heal. At the same time, I know I need to work on some stuff, so I'm gonna take this time to work on the technique that I can work. Like, I know it feels really bad that I didn't spar in half year, and it feels bad. I don't know. I miss giving punches, taking punches, but unfortunately, I cannot do that right now. I really hope I'm gonna be able to fight in a spring, because my goal is to fight, and after I fight, to go in Romania and see my mom. I didn't see my mom in 3, 4 years, and that was the plan. I was like, okay, mom, I'm gonna fight in October, maybe November, and then I'm gonna be home for Christmas. And unfortunately, I'm not, and I didn't tell her yet. I don't even know how to tell her because it's in September. It's her birthday, and then it's Christmas, and I was not home for years.
And for even UFC, like your teammates at the gym there, all Canadians and all the Canadian fans who love to see them fight. What's it like, I guess, in January in Toronto, and you see that big pay-per-view finally come back to Canada in Toronto, and seeing them get to go out there and get that shine, like Mike Malott, even though he came out on the losing end, he got that reaction and from the Canadian fans. What did you think that was like just for Canadian MMA?
Canadian fans really love UFC. Like, no matter who is gonna fight, every card in Canada is gonna the venue is gonna be sold out, because Canadians love UFC, and I'm sure they missed all those years when UFC didn't come to Canada. So no matter what, they are gonna support UFC, and they support other MMA events too. Like, I'm going to most of the MMA events to be honest, and Muay Thai events because I love the sport and I like to be involved and I like to watch it. And most of those venues are packed. Like people really watch that. And I know sometimes I find myself thinking like, why do people like to see other people fighting each other? But it's just that vibe, that feeling that you have, and the experience. It can compare with anything else. So Canadians, I feel like after UFC came to Vancouver a year ago, I feel like they understood that we are we don't just have one fighter there or whatever, and what it happens. We actually have a few good fighters, and we actually can put the flag up.
I agree, and it's good for Canadian MMA. Like we even have fighters like yourself there, so all the popular fighters from Canada makes us all happy to be Canadian. And just I guess a couple final questions before we wrap up here. For yourself, like who are some fighters that you always enjoy watching? Like right now, like when their fights are announced, it's all right. I'm watching that fight coming up.
Well, of course, there are those guys that are the OGs, Dustin Poirier, Gaethje, all like those guys that Oliveira that you love to see. And now it's this new guy, Arman Tsarukyan.
Yeah.
Like this guy is sick. I'm like, man, I didn't expect him to beat Oliveira, to be honest, but he did it, and he went through some really hard moments in a fight, and still won. Like those are pretty much the names that I like. Of course, I like Rose Namajunas. Of course, I love this fight, Tracy Cortez and Rose Namajunas. I love that fight. So when Rose was booked to fight Macy Barber, I was not that excited about the fight. But when I saw that Tracy Cortez stepped in, like I really loved that. I was like, I need to watch this fight. So those are pretty much the names. Of course, I love Weili Zhang, and there are a lot of other names that maybe are not on top 5 or top 3, but still watch them. I watch the fights in general. Like, it's this guy that just fought Drew Dober. Like, I didn't know about this guy, but did you see that fight?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, man, how can you not love those guys? Like that was just a blast. It was amazing. So I just like, because I watched the fights from the first fight of the prelims, because you never know which fight is going to be the best of the night, and you don't want to miss this. So that's how I am.
That's good. Devoted fan. That's good to see.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up here and let you go, how can our viewers here at Sportskeeda MMA follow you on social media, stay up to date with everything you're doing, and support your career?
Thank you. I love your guys' involvement in all this, especially the situation that is going on right now, because probably many people don't want to get involved in it because it's a little bit weird. This guy is making saying racist words and threatening women and whatever. But and I really appreciate that you guys actually got involved and give me the chance to tell my story to the people, so people don't get confused and misunderstand that I had something to do with this guy, and I have nothing to do with this guy, and I'm happy that you guys can show that to people.
And what's your social media handle for our viewers here to follow you?
So I'm using Instagram, Diana Belbita. It's simple. It's Diana with no double N and Belbita. Same thing. It's on all the social media, including Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. So there I am.
Highly recommend that follow. And Diana, appreciate you sharing your time and coming on here to talk about this. I know it's an unfortunate situation, but respectfully that you came on here and reached out to us and trusted us with this kind of situation. So wish you all the best. Hopefully it clears up, and hopefully you're have a speedy recovery there, and we can see you back in the cage so all the Canadian fans there can cheer you on. Thanks a lot, Diana.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everything you do for sport and for helping me in this situation.